Welcome back to another episode of Reeeal Talk, episode number 38.
Yep.
How's it going, co-host?
Man, I'm having a great week. It is great.
There we go. Yeah. So he didn't just say fantastic as he normally says. He actually use more words. I wonder how many views we get. We're going to come back to this, episode 38, if the viewership changed because you actually, was more homey and inviting and welcoming. Anyways, here we are at episode 38. If you haven't watched episode 37 yet, pause this video, go check out episode 37. It's right there on our YouTube channel in our playlist. Just go check out episode 37 and then come right back here. Now, we have our guest here, Stephen Matthew Foreman Jr., also known as Paulie. Paulie in episode 37 was breaking down, our confessions of a young believer, and he was just walking through, the time he got saved and just defending Christ and defending his faith and what that looks like and what he was going through and encountering. And so it's been great. I thought episode 37 was a blast. And so here we are picking up a week later addressing, we want to dive a little deeper into this, right? This is real talk, okay? I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Generally, when we have to do 2 episodes like this or part 2, the first episode is like nice and welcoming, and then the part 2, like we go deeper, we deep dive, okay? So I mean, you signed the consent form, so nothing is off limits. Nothing is off limits here on Reeeal Talk.
Consent form, like where is that joint?
I'm just saying, nice hoodie, by the way. It really standing out here. The gray hoodie is nice.
This one right here.
Yeah, did you design that? I know you're an artist by trade. Did you design that? You might want to come in a little closer because we can't see with that.
Like graphic piece, yeah.
What does that even say? Love thy country,
love thy country, love thy neighbor.
Yeah, your dreads are all in the way. So
really?
Yeah, so okay, that is tough. Looks like a heart's being pulled so it's being pulled between loving thy country and loving thy neighbor. Deep. I guess we'll get into that, I guess, another time. Maybe if you go check out the bio page and see the link, you'll be able to check out what that really means and more merchandise. Extra credit, extra credit. Not homework, but extra credit. So, Paulie, we spent episode 37 addressing a lot of, I guess, great things that, people would say, man, this is a great young man. If we had like mothers in the church or some elder or deacon, they'd be like, man, this man of God, man, at a young age, he's on fire for God. And I'm happy about that. I love the story that you always tell about being saved at 6 years old. And, but I just want to address the contrast. All right. What were some of your failures in your public display?
Yeah, why are you trying to air out his laundry though? I mean, come on now, that ain't Christ-like. Trying to get this dude to air out his dirty laundry. Like,
okay, so just
the blood. They're all under the blood.
Just clarification.
Under the blood.
I am not trying.
I
am not trying to just find some dirt. My mindset is, I think through these real conversations, you can help people who are around your age. You can provide them to be an example and let them know, some things that you failed with and potentially overcame or still struggling with, whatever the case may be. I think nobody wants to hear that sometimes from a 50-plus-year-old, pastor. Sometimes they want to hear from the guy who's like right there, like, young, who can actually tell them certain songs that they're listening to. Who knows? They just want to hear the relatability. And so I just want you to be able to speak to like your audience. What were some of your failures in your public display of your faith to people in school or to friends?
Public display, just a whole bunch of profanity, you know.
Profanity. Oh, we just don't, just. What do you mean, like profane things that you said towards God, or you mean what do you mean, like actually
You
using?
want me to say the words? Like,
I don't know I don't know what you're talking about right now. I just want to get an understanding because we see the word profane in the Bible, and I just wanted to know. You're actually saying you were cursing.
curse words.
Okay, wow.
Swearing.
What was getting you to those? And people publicly who knew you were a Christian was hearing you say, "Okay, wow."
Oh, wow.
What
was getting me to?
Yeah, like what's getting you to this point? Like like, man, I gotta be a light to these people, and here I am, like this.
And that still bothers me.
Wait, still okay. Well, let's.
Of like, the past, like
Yeah. It still bothers you today of the stuff in the past. I feel you. I feel you. Got you. Okay, so what's getting you to that point though? Going back in the days, what's getting you to that point?
Honestly, I just hear it and I'm like, honestly, to me, probably shouldn't admit
This is real talk. You got to be real. What's going on in your mind that's just getting you to the point where you're just like this?
Hearing a certain strand of like curse words like put together is just hysterical to me. Like when people just like cuss somebody out, it's like, yo, why did you have to do that though? And it was just funny when I was young, and like
So it was funny to you that you knew that they seen you as a Christian, and you just like, I'll just get to school today, like.
Well, to me at that age, it's like, before I knew how words would affect people's psyche, I'd be like, I'm not hurting nobody, I'm not stealing, I haven't stole like from anybody, I haven't killed anybody, I haven't done anything sexually perverse to anybody, so it's just like, to me, obviously every sin is like comparable to God, no matter like how.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Continue with the thought. I like your transparency.
But like at that time, it was just like, okay, I said the S word. It was like it wasn't a big deal to me at the
That's
time.
it. That's the only. That's it. That's all you said was the S word.
You want me to drop that?
No, I don't want you to say it. Just the word. What else did you? Because you say you like stringing them together.
Yeah.
All right. It doesn't matter. You're right. But I do like the perspective. I mean, it's jokes, but I do like the perspective of stating like, here you are recognizing like, okay, this is a struggle of mine, but you're finding some justification by saying like, I mean, I'm not out here smashing cheeks. I'm not, selling poison to my own community. Like I'm not, these things are like really bad. I'm saying some words that people are laughing at. They're not coming up to me saying, yo, why would you use those words to me? Why would you? So, it kind of helped you a little bit in the sense of, even though you knew it was kind of like wrong, it kind of still fueled you a little bit to be like, but I mean, I'm not really sinning bad. Like it's bad, but it ain't bad.
Yeah, I'm not sinning bad. Like bad is alright. Bad is bad.
It's just words, right? It's no biggie.
Honestly, there's a school of thought among Christians that using profanity, like a cuss word, like he just said, the S word or the F word or whatever, that if it's in its generic form, as you're just articulating a story and you drop those words into the story, that's not swearing. Swearing is when you're using it against somebody, making it derogatory against someone. That's when it becomes sin.
That's interesting.
And they use certain verses in the Bible on how the word is how the verse is phrased to connect the idea that it's speaking about interacting with one another is when it's sinful. But if while you're sharing a story and you just drop those words in that story,
or if you're in the shower just singing,
singing, repeating J. Cole songs, you know what I'm saying, and just like then it's not swearing. But I'm just saying that is a school of thought within.
You're right.
Teach us what?
No. Go ahead. Throw out our church name for them, man, so they know what we do around here. You know, we got sermons to back it up.
We got sermons to back it up.
We got sermons to back it up.
Of our pastor displaying this doctrine in front of us.
In front of us, that
video proof.
Facts. So I'm with you on that school of thought. You know, I'm with you on that.
That is
All right.
They are way out of line right now, but I'll deal with them later.
So how are you dealing with that today, though? In your mindset, do you feel like it is more impactful? Like,
definitely.
Okay.
I hate when people like go, well, the music I listen to or like the words I say aren't affecting nobody, and like I hurt them, But what I've like observed with people or even within myself is just like, the things you say around people or just the mindset that you allow to like fester within you, like just sits there and it like, slowly creeps into like your day to day. So like, I don't know, if you're like around friends or even a work environment where it's just like, man, I hate school or I hate work, I hate going to work, and just constantly complaining, at least with me, I started finding myself complaining like, dang, I really do hate work. I didn't want to go to work anymore,
That transferring of spirits.
I don't know about spirits.
No, but I understand that.
But there is a study.
The probability of a person, I'm sorry, the probability of a person to do something when they're constantly hearing something or being around something obviously increases the more and more, and it's going to be that much more difficult for you to think of some positive thoughts if you're constantly around like negative minded people. I get that.
As well as music, just
Absolutely. You're not saying that the verses just enter your mind and take over your will. You're saying if I constantly listen to it morning, afternoon, evening, like how we should be reading our word and praying, like how we should be. If we do that consistently, we have the probability of
rehearsing that in our mind
and applying it in our lives.
Yeah.
The actual applying piece. So I get that. Let me ask you this: What are some challenges that you face with being? I mean, you're still young, but with being young and Christian, what were some challenges that you face or are still facing? And by challenges, I don't necessarily mean that you sin, but things that you find yourself having to be more fruitful, more self-control, more disciplines in your life. If just an example, if you were a person who had like lower self-esteem and let's say you skipped a day of reading or something, or you read something in the Bible, or you felt defeated, whatever the case may be, a challenge for that person may be that I just keep wrestling with the fact of like seeing myself how God sees me. And that's just not necessarily a sin in and of itself, but that's something that is a challenge. And so I'm just asking you, what are some challenges that you face and deal with being young?
A myriad of them.
Well, let's go through the ones that's on the top of your mind.
Being around lifestyles and not wanting to indulge in them, like I don't know, sometimes
Well, what kind of lifestyles we talking about? Let's get that on Real Talk.
like I don't know, partying or not drinking so far, but like smoking and how like some people say
Well, you are in college. You are in college now. College life.
And everybody's like smoking Hyde or they're using some type of drug to escape like the depression they may feel or like just whatever they got going on, the stress they got going.
Mental health. Negative mental health. Yep.
And so just, I guess being challenged. I mean, I don't want to partake in it, but it is a challenge though. Like being around it and like they say you funnier with it, and I like laughing.
Yeah, you're just like you keep seeing them passing by you. It's like maybe one time you. I mean, so I get what you're saying.
Or sometimes you're more creative, like some creative processes, like for some people are just like indulging in drugs, and like some people produce the good work, and that's the struggle for me too. Like, dang, what if I were to like I don't know, do some like craziness, you know, and like get a I don't know.
So he's an artist,
Right.
by the way. So,
Right.
so my question now, we're still on the track of talking about salvation and your faith. But in your mindset, are you thinking like, man, I could probably come up with the best painting or picture, maybe if I
That's
just.
what people will be thinking, or like sometimes they be like having a crazy trip and like, oh my gosh, man, I'm one with the universe, and also you know like.
So you want to be one with the universe?
I can
do
see
what?
sounds and colors are, you know, it's just like
Making
what?
noises.
It's just like what?
So I can hear colors and
see sounds.
see sounds.
Okay.
Sounds are becoming colorful.
You know?
Yeah, I want to stay away from anything like
I
that.
do too, but it's just
No, but it's constantly around you.
it's
That's a
around-
challenge.
Yeah, and so that's one of them. Dabbling in a different mindset or like philosophy, kind of like just studying how people come to certain conclusions intrigues me, and that can also be dangerous, you know. With like if you get too far deep in I don't know Islam, and you're like, maybe I rock with like you know Allah better than or more than our God, you know. Those are challenges as well, like just diving into different philosophies or different thoughts.
So
Not
being
to
a
say-
person that engages like you are with people, you now listening to people's responses and you're like, all right, well, let me go read up and study
Right,
these things.
study it
And you're just saying that it could be a challenge could be like, man, I'm spending 20, 30 minutes looking at this.
Yeah,
maybe I ain't
right,
looking at my
right.
word, or maybe, you know,
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to give them the answer to lead them over here, but
Right.
and then, like you said, you know, that rare occasion, I don't think will happen. But, you know, you stumble like, oh, maybe this is interesting. I like this. Where isn't this not in the Bible? You know,
Right.
so, yes, I can understand that.
Yeah, that's another one, and also the future too, like being very skeptical or just not allowing the future to be in God's hands. You know, I'm always worrying about okay, what do I got to do tomorrow? What's happening tomorrow? Like, what do I got to do for work? What do I got to do for I don't know an assignment? Like. How am I going to pay bills future, like in the future? This is probably like a struggle I have myself, but like I worry about like, you know, how are my kids going to be impacted by this, like by me watching another YouTube video for like a half an hour instead of like working on an illustration that could, you know, break the bank for me, you know? So those are things that happen in my mind instead of like, you know, going to the word and like being secure in the future and like being secure in God that he'll, you know, not to say that I can be complacent and lazy, but like if I work and also trust in God for the future, you know, then like my future would just be set, you know. So that's a struggle or a challenge for me.
How old are you again? I don't know if you ever mentioned that to the audience. You're 19 years old. Wow. That last challenge that you addressed, those are things people are struggling with as adults, like constantly. To even have the mindset to, you know like, hey, some things that I'm holding in the future, I have to learn how to give this like to God, while still knowing it is very important to prepare, you know. But there's a difference between preparing and then like this worrying that it's now weighing on me more than reading and trusting. So.
Right.
That's a powerful thing to be able to have that mindset as, you know, 18-year-old, man. Confessions of a Young Believer, ladies and gentlemen. But we're not done yet. It's been brought to my attention. Oh yeah, we got time. It's been brought to my attention that you're in a relationship. Is that correct? You don't have to give any names. You don't have to, unless you didn't want that out there. And well, they probably won't watch this anyways, right? No, I'm just joking. By the time you get on, by the time this episode drops, we're gonna have mad viewers and mad subscribers. So you better make sure that you own that. You over here talking about some, well, I don't put no labels on nothing.
We boyfriend and girlfriend.
There we go. Okay, so you're a Christian and you're dating and you're 19. You said 19 years old, sir. What advice would you give other young believers to maintain a devotion to God, but also to have this devotion to flee sexual immorality while you're in this like committed relationship?
I mean, like, not to say that it's easy for me, but it's like, I haven't experienced anything like that, so I do have a certain, I guess, head start, since I haven't come close to anything like that, so.
Okay, anything when it comes
I know,
to
right?
like,
That's probably
I mean,
like
this is
condemning, like, yeah.
this is real talk here. So, in regards to sex, okay, cool. No. Yeah. It is not. It's not condemning, but it is wrong if you don't have a ring on it and you have not have a union with God. No. I know what you're saying. It's a beautiful thing, but it's only a beautiful thing when you are in marriage.
I'm not saying that, but also like like I'm supposed to give advice, and I'm like saying I had this heads up, like I've been 19 years strong as a virgin kind of thing. But I don't know, but that's just keeping in mind like.
Do you set up boundaries? Any boundaries?
Yeah, within my psyche, I haven't broke anything yet to like be okay now. I'm like,
But have you shared this with your girlfriend, like to know, like this is what we're?
Yeah, we've had conversations, and she understands that, and she's like holding true to that as well. We're both in the same boat, and I think that's probably the best case scenario too. Like when y'all both understand and y'all both are like committed. Like it's easy, or it's easier like that. But like it's easier to slip into that sexual immorality.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
When one person's like not committed, like yeah, sure, whatever. We ain't gonna worry, or we're gonna do that when we're married, and then like like 6 months later, it's like. Actually,
yeah.
I want this now. But, just, and also understanding, I guess, what that is. Like, not to say that I understand it fully yet, but it's like, I don't know. I think about the importance of, marriage and how, like, that, like you becoming one with, another person as well as God, like just you're unified with another person through like marriage, So I try to keep that sacred in my mind,
So that's important that you stated that. Like I said, as a person who's like young, your mindset is like I value this the way that God values this in my mind, and I'm not just looking at it as an action. Right now, I'm looking at the bigger picture and what's valuable to God, which is a marriage, which is a union, which is a covenant that we have with our spouse, and that's good to hear as a younger person, who has this mindset like this is where I'm standing, this is where I'm rocking with it, and to be able to say like, hey, if you're not on this, like I'm not looking to do that. I'm not looking to be the guy that's like. You know what? 6 months later, like, no, I'm looking to be the guy that's saying, this is where I'm standing. If you're not with that.
Deuces. Or you don't even get to that point. For real, if, like, like, being my girlfriend kind of thing, like, if, like, that's not the type of time I'm on. And people know that, too, like, when I'm talking to them. It's not like, all right, meet me it's
so they already know about your faith. They already know where you stand on
I'm
things.
already talking to you for like a good 6 months or so. So it's like you already should know by then. It's like, oh, he don't want to get into nothing. So it's like, and also just, damn, what was I saying?
Watch this guy. We don't want him slipping up on the show. Well, no, that's good. Listen, that answer was good enough because I have something else to ask you now. We stated before, or kind of stated that the co-host has already made it aware in episode 37 that you're his son. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned in episode 37 that he's your pastor. Mm-hmm. So that makes you a pastor's kid, right? How do you deal with people who are just like, listen, you're giving all this advice and you're a believer, and at a young age and all these things like that, and you're able to still live a life that's pleasing to God as a young man, but it's because your father is a pastor. What would you say to that? A person who's trying to place your walk and the decision making and the decisions that you had to make independent of your father, on the fact that you're a pastor's kid. That's why you're young and saved. That's why you're doing that, which is right. What would you say back to that?
I'd say it's no less difficult, it's no less difficult being a Christian or like having that walk when you are a PK, you know. And I never really considered I am a PK by definition, but like, you know, I was never raised with that title, or I never was treated as like a PK, like how, because our church isn't really traditional in terms of like with like all the, you know,
ceremonial things
and some of the theatrics that do you know, go on in the church. And so it was just like I'm just another Christian kid that goes to, you know, this Christian building, you know, so that just so happened to be the son of a pastor, you know. So it was never like a certain title or like a certain air about me that like I couldn't be touched, you know, or I'm godly because I'm next to the pastor. I'd say the most beneficial thing, or like I guess what made it easy to be a Christian, was just having that knowledge right then and there, and be like, yo, Pops, what does this verse mean? Or like, what does Christ mean when he says this? Or like, what does this mean in the Old Testament? How is that correlated right now? You know, or in this New Testament verse. So that's that's like what made it easy, I guess, to believe. But it's still a walk. You know, I still have to have the conviction myself. My pops, he doesn't like hold my conviction for me, you know. That's a personal thing. But I'd say like the information definitely helped me with like coming to understand certain things about the Bible, how to navigate, like maybe not fall into another religion, like, you know, I don't know, getting into certain mindset and like, man, I don't like humanity, or you know, and just fall into nihilism or just something crazy, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, because it almost seems like a person is just basically trying to remove the fact that you still are a human being and you still have desires. And my mindset is, well, what do you do with the PKs who aren't living anything godly? If you're going to hold the person who is living godly and say, well, that's just because your father is a pastor, then what about the ones who aren't? Mm-hmm. Then obviously that should show you that there's still some free will. And it's a good point. You don't hide the fact that your father has been beneficial in your life. You don't hide the fact that, like, I've gotten information from him. But most importantly, if he's preaching and teaching correctly, he's still going to tell you, challenge the things that I'm still telling you. And so he's still providing you free will while walking through the scriptures. So you being a PK or not is really irrelevant to, you know, your own convictions and being led to the faith. So I have like two more questions, maybe only one. We'll see. Sorry, Cole, so I haven't let you ask any questions in a while. I know. Is there anything that you feel like you want to share? I must be doing a great job then. All right, cool.
If that's your base of evidence of good job, all right, so you're doing a good job.
All right, thank you. That's all I need to hear. We'll edit the part out of the other thing and just the part that just says you're doing a good job.
We won't edit.
Oh, this guy here. You must have been watching the videos. Okay, that's cool. You've been doing your homework, getting us that extra subscriber. That's what I'm talking about. Paulie, did you ever feel like your parents sacrificed areas of parenthood to you for the responsibilities of being a pastor? Or not your parents with an S, but like, did you ever feel like your father sacrificed areas of parenthood, like towards you, like being a father or you know, and parenting you that for the church, being a PK? I just wanted to ask you this: did you feel like he ever sacrificed, like, I got to go to this church, I got to do this meeting, or he was spending more time in the church than he was actually parenting you?
Once again, honestly, I didn't grow up in a traditional like PK or like just church environment, and so my pops like put a heavy like premium on family and like under or making sure like we understood the Bible and just like just having family time too. He was always present in my life. There wasn't like a vague like I don't remember my pops during it. No, he was like there like through the whole like process of me growing up. Everything. He's still here today. He's still doing his thing. I don't know how he like manages being a pop, a chef, and a pastor. I don't know.
All right, let's don't give him too much credit. Let's move on to the next question. Well, that's great, man. Like we always want to uplift when pastors and fathers are in their child's life, and you can really see that they're not sacrificing, church, not necessarily ministry, but like church for, sacrificing for parenting, which is a biblical thing, So that's we love to hear that, and especially with you addressing your father. But here's my last question I want to address to you. It's kind of more of you giving advice, if you will. I want you to give advice to young people who are saved now, okay? Believers, maybe who are in college or in high school, or if they're in grammar school, on the importance of having reasons for believing in God, okay? They're already saved, so obviously the Holy Spirit has already convicted them of the truths that only through the atoning work of Jesus Christ can they be saved. But I want you to, from you, because they don't want to hear it from the 50-plus-year-old, they don't want to hear it from the 30-plus-year-old, the importance of having evidence and proof for why you believe in what you believe in.
To convince somebody else or just...
No, talking to the believer.
Word.
Yeah, no, they're already convinced. They're already saved.
I mean, like, the advice is for them to... Well, yeah, they're already
saved. Right. You're just giving them advice of why it's important. Instead of just having this mindset, I don't need facts. I got faith. I got that, And while that's good for them, I'm just asking, like, what advice would you give them? Because you do apologetics. You have dived into that realm of engaging people instead of saying, like, I just pray that the Spirit of God will overtake you right now. You actually engage the person and then you pray and things like that. So walk them through why that's important. Sometimes they need to hear it from a younger person instead of an older person telling them, just believe, just trust God. Mm-hmm. Why was it important for you? And what advice would you give for them? Why you needed evidence and proof, for why you believe what you believe?
Honestly, it's just not to say that, God needs to be added. Like, there needs to be something that added to God's character or anything, but it helped me understand the world around me and how, like, God, like, really created it. And it's just like, like, it's just going outside of the Bible and, like, okay, the world around me couldn't have gotten here unless there was like a divine figure who is like immaterial or just like these lists of different things that like nature couldn't produce itself. So that just helped me to like just solidify my belief even further. Like, okay, not only do I have the word telling me this, but also I know that okay, this is a credible document that I could that I can rely on, outside of it telling me that it is true and that it's the word, of God. It just helped me like build a better faith, and like it'd be really difficult to like have me, sway towards atheism or just like denying this outright completely, So it just helped me solidify my faith, honestly.
Good. Good advice. Nobody's taking away from the fact that you don't already have faith, but it further supplements you. It's like a double warranted in you that, double like edification. Like I'm solid in this to where I can engage people. I don't have to be
outside the faith, in the faith.
Exactly. You have this mindset to be able to engage, see God in the scriptures, see God working outside. Still the scriptures, but you see him. You see going outside. You see wow, look at all these things. Look at how the waters have certain boundaries set to them, that you see those verses talk about these things, and being able to engage with people who want to talk science. And you're like, well, my God is the author of that. Let's go. And so I think that's huge, and to be able to have that. So I think this has been excellent episode, walking through some of your failures, walking through some of your challenges, some things you may still be challenged with, and still holding up that banner, man, for Christ, still being that ambassador, and not being you're unashamed. You're not this person who's just like, I'm an artist that's a Christian or something. Like you're just like, no, it's out there. I'm trying to find different ways to let you know that I love God and how much you need him without any condemnation. And I just really respect that about you. And that's why I brought you here on this platform, because you're an unashamed person who doesn't seek condemnation, but you're really trying to let people know how much they need God. And so that's very vital and important for us to see young people in the faith doing that. Co-host, do you have anything to add?
No, it was good.
I think so too. All right. Listen, continue to like the videos. Continue to leave your comments. We've been seeing the comments. We've been interacting with your comments. So continue to leave comments. Steve is saying homework. What is the homework?
Get one new subscriber.
One new subscriber. That is the homework. Extra credit is check out the link in the YouTube bio. That's extra credit. Homework. Gain another subscriber. Let's take this message further. God bless. See you the next episode. Make sure you click the notification bell to know when the next episode is dropping. Peace.